Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is February 3rd, 2023. Hey, hello. What's up? um, Hopefully you've had a good week. Hopefully you're having a Friday, not just a Friday. Yes. As for me, I gotta say the vibes were a little weird today, a little bit off. I woke up knowing that I was gonna be going into like 20-degree temperatures, which I mean, hey, maybe for some people that's totally fine. Like, hey, that's nothing. But for me, that's cold. Like, if we're under freezing, if we're under 32, that's cold. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bust out my pair of winter overalls because I got my like first pair of overalls. I don't know, about a year or so ago, maybe, and I just never wore them. And I was like, this is the day we're gonna wear them. So I was so jacked to do it. And I gotta say, overall, I liked the look a little bit. It had like a zipper, like entry kind of thing. So that was nice in its own way. I got to like kind of wear it half out in a way, like it was almost like a jacket. So that was neat. That's right, we're doing a fashion corner right now. But uh, like I want to say a couple hours into my day, I realized I'm like, oh shit, I didn't drop off the rent. So I was like, oh, I don't want to be late on my rent check, and I knew I was probably gonna be fine, but like sometimes I get like anxious about it. Where I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a hassle. They're gonna try to like get me over this, da 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 da. Because my landlords are their landlords, rat bastards. But it is what it is. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the L and I'm gonna take a long break and I'm gonna do that. So I did that and then I don't know. I guess doing that really just set the rest of my day in a weird kilter. And then I got a extra helper, which we've talked about a little bit before, but it wasn't the usual person, so it was someone new and I'd kind of worked with this person before. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy with all help I can get. I am not. I mean, I am a little bit of a lone wolf at work, but like, hey, you're gonna give me help, I'll take it. But in this situation, I was like, this guy seems to be doing it. Like he wants to just take it over. That's fine, awesome. I'm gonna fall back, and I think I'm gonna leave on time today. So I treated myself to that, but I didn't get my food. I was gonna get mellow mushroom, and y'all know I like to get mellow mushroom. I was gonna tell you all about the mellow mushroom. I ate whatever, but I didn't eat it because it didn't happen. And they were like busy, they're backed up, and I didn't want to wait. So here I am, hungry as could be, podcasting. But hey, life has its own treats, and this is one of them. So I'm happy to be here with y'all and talk about my overalls and news. We're gonna get into news, of course, of course, of course. So let's start there. Let me pull it up. Computer, bear with me. All right, all right. Let's start with NPR. Human Rights Watch urges investigation of alleged use of landmines by Ukraine. So honestly, not too much Ukraine news. Off the top of my head, I don't really think too much happened this week from what I've gathered. There were talks though from this Human Rights Watch that suggests that Ukraine scattered so-called pedo mines in and around the eastern Ukrainian city of Izum. Pedo mines are prohibited under the 1997 Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Treaty, of which Ukraine is a signatory. Because of their ability to indiscriminately maim and kill. Now, when I heard like, okay, what a pedo mine was, I was like, okay, it's just another mine, right? But when I saw it, I mean, it lended itself to exactly what a mine is. Like, I don't know. The only other mine I've really seen are fake proximity mines you see in Call of Duty, and then also claymores that I've seen in Call of Duty and or Metal Gear Solid. And a claymore does not look like a sword. It just looks like a fucking box with lasers. At least that's what I've been told and seen, from video games. But seeing a pedal mine, that's why I was like, okay, I'll definitely let's put this on the thumbnail. I mean, it really looks like a little. I wish I knew what they were, but we have them in Ohio. But we call them whirly birds. But essentially, when they fall, the seeds they like almost look like a feather wing or something, and they just twirl like a little circle down to the ground, and they lay on the ground. And like a petal, that's what this mine does. It flutters to the ground. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys aren't burying these, you just like drop them and they fall from the sky, I guess, or whatever. I don't know, but they flutter. And they're on the ground, and they're usually in like a green or brown wrapping that kind of makes them look like earth. And I mean, these things, like I said, they can maim and kill you. I mean, and they took like a survey, I believe, this Human Watch group, but I don't know if this is in the article, if I just sourced this part, but essentially they were saying, like, in this, I listened to the BBC News for a little bit of this, but essentially they were saying that in the town, they surveyed the people, they talked to people, and they're like, look, like, either they were hit by one of these things, or they knew someone who was hit, or they were very well aware and afraid of these mines. And I mean, that's a concern. That's a problem. I mean, when we're talking about war crimes, atrocities, especially I feel like in this day and age, it's hard to hide these things. Like, people are going to be on the ground ready to investigate and learn these things. And the Human Rights Watch is also pushing for Ukraine to do its own investigation into the situation. I haven't heard whether or not they will or they won't. But I have heard, some counterpoint saying like, hey, look, yes, we may be guilty of this, but, on the other half, Russia is also using these pedal mines, and they're using them at a higher frequency than we're using them. So that's been, thrown out. But obviously, war crimes are war crimes. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes, if any punishment comes out of that kind of stuff. But, yeah, that's Ukraine news for the week. Let's see. From the Associated Press, death toll from Pakistan mosque suicide bombing rises to 74. So I believe, this took place, let's see, I think, Monday. And as of Tuesday, I think this is when the number was reported. But sadly, and this is also not in the article, but I believe the man, he dressed as a police officer and was able to, get into this mosque. And it's also alleged that maybe he wasn't necessarily from around there. He wasn't necessarily a local of this area of Pakistan, because he was asking for I think some directions or whatever to either get to the mosque, or when he was there where people were praying, whatever. But essentially this man, did a suicide bombing, and there were 300 people who were present at the mosque at the time praying. Also, I believe that police were there. It was during a time where a lot of police were present. I don't know if that was a motivation or not necessarily. I also don't know the name of the bomber either. That being said, Sarbakif Mohammed, a commander of the Pakistani Taliban, also known as Tariq-e-Taliban Pakistan, or TTP, and we'll refer to that as TTP from here on out, claimed responsibility for the attack in a post on Twitter. Which, a little bit of a tangent, it is crazy, yeah, that, the Taliban, any kind of these organizations, have Twitters, right? That's crazy to me. I mean, it isn't, I'm not one of those people who are oh, well, you should ban them. They shouldn't have this platform. They shouldn't be allowed to use this or that. But to me, I'm wait. If people want to self-report on themselves on the internet and they're terrorist organizations or whatever, let them do it, right? To me, let them cook. Obviously, this is in support of what they do or say, but essentially, if you want to incriminate yourself and put it out there, then shit, go off, king, queen, entity, whatever. But then also hours later, TTP spokesperson Mohammed Kirsani distanced the group from the bombing, saying it was not its policy to target mosques, seminaries, and religious places, adding that those taking part in such acts could face punitive action under the TTP's policy. His statement did not address why a TTP commander had claimed responsibility for the bombing. So that's murky. That's obviously a situation where it's like, oh shit, you shouldn't have said that. That this is clearly too hot for us to be claiming responsibility for. Like, shut the fuck up, cut it out. And they needed to run, interference there. So awkward. But obviously it's super sad to hear about this, talk about this kind of shit. I try to provide a little bit of levity when I can. Maybe not well, but yeah, definitely a sad thing. I'd heard some coverage on it, so I wanted to put it on the podcast. Spread the word about it, talk about it. Obviously, Pakistan is an area we've talked about, a few times, either with Imran Khan or with the flood, situation from last year, now this. So yeah, the world is truly on fire. But that being said, we can always talk about it. We can always spread awareness. We can always, hopefully, I don't know, come up with something. That's the dream, right? That like we can somehow put our heads together, right, and solve some problems. I don't know. I'm just waxing poetic here. I pre-gamed a little. Forgive me. Actually, I'm gonna take a little break right now. Actually, we'll call ourselves halfway. All right. From Yahoo News, California police fatally shoot double amputee, raising the question: was lethal force justified? Honestly, love this sentence because once again, call me tinfoiled, call me conspiracy pill, whatever. But like, I love when the propaganda is just baked in. At the end of the day, you read the first part before I hit the comma. Police fatally shoot a double amputee. And before you ask, yes, he was black. Yes, this is a black man who was shot. Now, we're going to get into some details here. Let's see. A Los Angeles County Police Department is facing intense criticism this week after a video surfaced on social media of two officers fatally shooting a double amputee moving away from them. Yeah. The short video showed the 36-year-old black man, Anthony Lowe Jr., missing the bottom halves of both legs, holding a knife, but leaving his wheelchair and shuffling away from officers. Now there are some details here. There's also talk, from a Columbia University law professor, talking about a 20-foot rule. Essentially like, I'll just read it. Police often observe a 20-foot rule as the zone around a suspect when they are free from danger and that they are in danger within that zone. I think most reasonable people would have thought the police had overstated the threat and were using an unreasonable level of force. And by unreasonable level of force, they shot him 10 fucking times. 10 fucking times. They also tried to tase him unsuccessfully. Now, I guess we're going to play the whole point counterpoint on the podcast where I have to like play a guy who's going to be in my fucking potential comments or whatever. Well, what was the guy doing with the knife, huh? Now also too, they had been called because of an alleged stabbing incident. So, yes, they're going to be on high alert. Essentially, also this man is waving a knife, and they say, according to the cops, side of the defense, they're saying that this man had threatened to throw it at them. There had been, I think, 2 instances where he had said he was going to throw it at them, and he was waving it around, and they used lethal force for that reason. I just gotta say it's a little phooey. The man is on 2 stumps. He's on 2 stumps. Like, my guys, you are equipped fully equipped. You have more fucking gear in your kit than Link did to save Zelda. I don't understand how you need to plug this man 10 times. 10 times between the two of you. You couldn't do a tackle. You couldn't do a maneuver. You're telling me all the fucking training that you've been provided, the only thing you could do is either try to tase this man or immediately go to lethal deadly force. That's all you can do. That's it. Okay. So yes, the family is also, pushing for the officers to be charged. Also, I'm leaving a bit out here. Let me get to that. Maybe you're wondering, how did this man, get amputated? Maybe he's like a vet or what have you. What was the incident or accident? Well, apparently, I believe he was in Texas. Yeah. And essentially, this is already an ongoing thing that I think it's either on trial or they're trying to sue, what have you. But an officer was involved in the loss of his legs. So, I mean, this man is already probably on high alert. He was probably already on high alert, against the police. And I wouldn't blame him. Now, once again, I'm sure there are people on the other side of this fucking conversation, which is always crazy to have an other side of the conversation where we're talking about cops being murder bots. But, they're saying, well, this is all on their line of duty shit. Da 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 da. And they're just backing the blue until they're fucking packed to the gills. But to me, I look at this situation and I'm just like, you're telling me there's no other way. There's no other way. This man has the accuracy of a Call of Duty fucking ballistic knife with this is a knife, by the way. I'm just hyping it up to be fucking funny. In this sad, fucking gruesome, macabre situation that we have in goddamn America. We can roll along. Yeah, sure, the pun was intended. Fuck, I'm sorry. Nah, it is what it is. What can I say? From the Hill. We're gonna lighten it up with some Congress news, and this isn't deep. It's not much, but Santos steps down from committee assignments. Let's see. Oh, sorry. At first, when I first heard this, I was like, oh, wow, okay, so, Santos is out. He's done. He's realized he's cooked. He needs to retreat. He's backing out. Good. Awesome. No, not really. Essentially, I'm going to do a little summarizations here. But, Santos, he met up with McCarthy, who, is the House leader. And essentially, after that meeting, he had announced that he's like, hey, I'm going to step down from my committee roles. I should have them, but I don't have them at the ready, even though I should. Sorry. But he was like, hey, I'm going to step down from my roles. I'll read a quote from Kevin, our House guy, our leader. Blech. I met with George Santos yesterday, and I think it was an appropriate decision that until he could clear everything up, he's off of committees right now. So let's see. Here we go. I can read them off now. He had been assigned, excuse me, to the Small Business Committee and the Science, Space, and Technology Committee earlier this month. Oh, excuse me. Now, he says he wasn't pushed off. He says he came to these conclusions on his own. But mind you, he's still going to be able to vote. He's still going to be an active member of the House. He's just not doing anything on the committees right now. Until things die down, blow over. We'll see. Time will tell. I haven't really covered too much. I don't even think I covered the whole Santos drag thing, which was interesting. But hey, it is what it is. Politicians are politicians. They are good at lying. This man just really, really tripled down on that. And really just maxed out his lying skill trait. And it's nah, I don't really want to do anything else. I'm going to make up everything as I go. Which honestly, once again, I can kind of respect that. When I spec build my characters, I go really high on charisma, and I just do brute, because essentially, if I'm a charming brute, I can get by with anything. I can get away with murder. Um, we'll see what Santos can get away with. On the other side of the coin, we have from Reuters, Republicans oust Elon Omar from high-profile U.S. House committee. So let's see. They don't have the name of the committee, but like it was a. Oh no, they do. I'm sorry. The deeply divided House voted 218 to 211 along party lines to remove Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee, with Republicans citing the 2019 remarks for which he later apologized. One Republican voted present. Also, I didn't pull the article for the episode, but there's at least a couple of Republicans that are even laughed, like kind of seen laughing along, talking, saying like, "This is so fucking stupid. Like this is dumb. Like this is dumb what we're doing right now." But really, this was a political tit for tat, and we'll get to that as we go. Let's see here. I want to start though with the comments that she had made. Republicans who won on a narrow House majority in November's election after years in the minority said they wanted Omar, a third-term House member off foreign affairs, for the statements that included a 2019 tweet which read, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby," suggesting that Israel supporters in U.S. politics were motivated by money rather than principle. Shit. I say she was being nice, and she shouldn't have to apologize for her fucking shit, but she did. She did the political thing. Also, third term is important here. That shit happened. Her district still voted her back in. She was fine. Like, this was something that has been done and blown over. They also go into, I love the clarification for Reuters here. They go, Benjamin Franklin, whose signature on the 1776 Declaration of Independence and 1778 U.S. Constitution earned him the reputation as founding father, is portrayed on the $100 bill. So they're letting you know that so that you get the reference. Honestly, I've said fucking way worse on the podcast. And, I mean, hey, if you want to try to come for me and say that I'm anti-Semitic, that's good luck, I guess. that's crazy. Sorry, I don't like Benjamin Netanyahu. Like, I'm sorry, I do not like systematic oppression. Which is honestly, when you look at what Omar is talking about in a lot of her tweets and a lot of her statements, this is a person who is a Somalian refugee. This motherfucker has come from some shit, has come from some struggle. And I mean, I guess you can talk about her religion. No, she's not a Christian. No, she's not. She, practices Muslim faith. At the end of the day, this is a person who's keeping it real. It's one of the reasons why Ilhan Omar, if I had to pick someone in the slurry of all these Congress members amongst the House and the Senate, she's one of my favorites. I definitely put her over AOC. I gotta say that. I definitely, and maybe call me crazy, some people come for me, I put her over someone like Bernie. It's just someone, like, this is a person I can look to and relate to. Someone who seems clear and conscious of fucking thought at all times. I just fucking like that. I fuck with that heavy. Not to say anything bad about Bernie or AOC, still fuck with them too, but I don't know. It's just different when it comes to someone like this. It's a shame that you're taking her off a committee that she could do a lot of good in. Also, it's crazy that they bring up the anti-Semitism when you have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, let's see, we'll reference the article once again. In 2021, Greene had compared COVID-19 mask requirements and vaccinations to the Nazi Holocaust that killed 6 million Jews. To Greene, that's the same thing, dog. That's wild. That's crazy. And she too also apologized, and she's on committees. So wow. Why were all these Republicans talking so much shit, saying that Omar was like this bad person and shouldn't be on the committees because she's a bad representation for our American values? Like, that's crazy. Essentially, the only dog whistle I'm hearing is she doesn't back Israel hard enough. That's an L. She should go. Like, Which honestly is Republican fucking doctrine to a T. So I mean, whatever. Also, Gosar is mentioned, which I don't know if we've talked about Gosar before. Gosar was kicked off the committee because he literally had some crazy edit video that he posted of like it's like Attack on Titan. And God, I hope there's some anime heads that watch this and listen or whatever. Essentially, it's him as Eren attacking AOC as the fucking as the colossal titan and taking her out, like doing some crazy shit. Like, well, it's just running the intro, but essentially, like, it's that scene, and it's wild. It's unhinged. I'm sure it still exists somewhere on the internet if you can find it. But yeah, he thought that was totally fine and cool. Honestly, it was just dumb. It was lame. I laughed, but I mean, if you take it to a dramatic place, it's like, yeah, it's picturing him, like, you know, destroying AOC. So it was wild, and he was kicked off for that. So I mean, the whole thing is a fucking shit show, clown car. Meanwhile, you know, we're inching closer and closer to, you know, the whole debt ceiling crisis default bullshit. You know, we're already over on that. It's coming in June, right? You know. So shit's insane, and I'm just happy to be here, and I'm happy to have a chance to talk to you guys about it. Let's see, Patreon talk, patreon.com/Isaiah News. That's where I put all the bonus episodes. That's where I have the Discord access. Let's see, also the Newsy Roll Call, and yeah, it's just general cool support that you can provide the pod. Actually, I'm trying to Daddy's got to get a new microphone. Okay, let me just say it. So if you want to help out, that's a good way to do it. Yeah, $5 a month. Let's see, free ways to hit me up though. IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Also Facebook, Twitter. More free ways if you just want to, like, subscribe to the YouTube, if you want to, like, comment, if you want to talk about it to your friends, share it, whatever. Those are all free ways that are equally useful to the cause. You know, if you want to be a newsie without being a newsie, that's how you do it. So yeah, I mean, that's all I got. Thank you for tuning in, listening to little old me, and hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.